Hello everyone! I have a complaint. Also, this is Benjamin T. Collier, and I have a complaint. So, the other day I was looking for just something kind of violent and mindless to play, and I came across this for a pretty good price. So I picked it up, and that might have been one of the biggest mistakes of my life, because now I can't stop. I've ended up having the most bizarre love-hate relationship with this game. Because there is a lot to love, but yes, I'm also... I keep running into things where I'm like, was that the best decision? It's one of those addictive kinds of games that is fun, but is also frustrating, and tends to be more frustrating than fun because of how almost fun it is, and you're aware of how much more fun it could be, if not for certain decisions that it keeps making. So for those who don't know, this is a roguelike type game. It's based on random factors as you do runs in order to make every run different. But also, it's got different characters. And every character, understandably, has their own kind of stats, their own, like, bonuses and drawbacks, with the, I assume, intention that, you know, to give you a different kind of flavor of playthrough each time you go through with the different characters. There's also just, like, a random option. And some of them you can tell are supposed to be like actual challenges. Some of them, I assume, are supposed to be more interesting than necessarily a challenge. But as I've tried out all these different characters, I keep running into this issue where what seems like is supposed to be the thing that makes the character fun, there's some, like, whatever drawback they've selected for it just completely destroys that. Like, the prime example I can think of is here, multitasker. So, except where stated otherwise, every character can carry up to 6 weapons. That's like a standard thing for the game. Multitasker can carry 12, that's twice as many weapons. But the drawback is that you do less damage. Not less damage in general. You very specifically do less damage for each weapon you have. So here's something that was almost fun and then completely shot itself in the foot. Someone working for this game was like, you know what would be fun is having a character who can carry twice as many weapons. And then either someone else working for the same game or the same person also had the idea of, and also you should be punished for having more weapons, so that you are actively discouraged from doing the thing that is the only reason for this character to exist in the first place. There's no other reason for multitasker to be here. 6 guns is plenty, frankly. Like, nobody asked, nobody was clamoring for, like, please give us a character that can carry 12 guns. The people making decisions for this game were like, we will give you this character, just out of the kindness of our hearts. Because that is a fun idea, we will do that for you. And also, you're going to be discouraged from having more guns. Specifically while playing as this character. And I'm like, what was the point of this? And by the way, if you are someone who, like, wants that, there is a better solution. I would say instead go for baby. Because in total you can carry a lot more, and the game doesn't punish you for having more weapons when you play as the baby. It takes longer to get more, Because the way it works with Baby is that you get extra weapon slots instead of the usual bonuses for leveling up. And also leveling up takes twice as long. But yeah, when I am in the mood specifically for just having a metric butt ton of weapons, that's the better character, really. Oh yeah, Jack. I completely forgot about Jack. Jack also is completely useless as a concept. So the whole idea behind Jack is that he does extra damage against bosses and elites. Okay, fine. But that's 125% bonus against. But every enemy, including bosses and elites, has 175% more health and does more damage against you. That's not a bonus. That just makes everything worse. Again, what was the point? There's also a lot of things about basic gameplay that needed to be explained. Like, this game needed an instruction manual, or a tutorial, or something. There's so many things that I have no idea what the... Engineering. Nothing in this game tells you what engineering is as a stat. The only thing I've been able to figure out is that it does impact, I think, damage and attack speed of turrets. But turrets is a maybe thing. Like, it's something that shows up in the shops at random. You can go entire runs without turrets even showing up as an option. And yet engineering is one of the things that you could upgrade as you level up if you wanted to. If that's only for turrets, then I don't see why that would be a general stat. Harvesting. I don't know exactly what harvesting is either. I assume it has to do with how many materials drop when you defeat enemies. But I really have no idea. That is only a guess. I have been meaning to actually Google some of these things and keep forgetting. So that's partially on me. But also, this game really needed a tutorial. So that's enough base complaining. There's more complaining I have to do. But also, as I said, there is fun stuff in this game. I've played this game a lot. This game convinced me somehow to complete runs as every character. Some more regretfully than others. Now, some things to actually compliment. This game does give you a warning of some of the tracks being... Yeah, it may cause copyright issues. So they give you the option, if you're a content creator like me, somewhat, they do give you a warning that old tracks might be an issue, and so you may want to turn those off. And that was very good of them. And also, I did buy the DLC once I got far enough into it, and they give you the option of going back to the base version of the game, which is what I've done for this video. I wanted to keep it simple for this video. And that's good, because it means that if there's certain items that can appear in the shop that are from the base version of the game, and you don't want the odds of them showing up to be mixed with the new stuff, and therefore not show up as often, you have the option of switching the DLC off. Now, something that I can't tell if it's a blessing or a curse, they do give you the option of retrying a wave if you fail. But there is not a system in place for giving yourself any better odds each time you try a failed wave. And so, like, the mercy of having this turned off is that if you've just got completely the wrong build for a particular wave, you're not stuck trying to redo it. You just start the game over, and then try and have a better build by the time you get to that wave. But you don't necessarily have the patience for that, so you'll want to just retry a failed wave right away. Well, if you've got okay stats, you'll be able to do it eventually, but there are situations I have run into where I just did not have the right build. There's just mathematically, it's impossible. There's this particular type of enemy that all they do is chase you down. They don't pause, they don't stop for anything, they don't shoot at you, they don't attack, they just chase you down and cause damage on impact. And if you don't have sufficient speed and knockback in combination, you just cannot complete that wave. It's just that simple. You cannot get that enemy away from you or get yourself away from that enemy fast enough to be able to survive. That's just one example. There's many examples of ways that just stat-wise you can be completely doomed. But perpetually retrying a wave, thinking that you can pull it off. And it's a kind of, like, I think it's a symptom of gamer mentality of, well, they're giving me the option of trying. This must therefore be possible. And in most games that would be correct, but in this game, no. And you need to have the wisdom to be able to recognize when something is possible and when something is impossible. And sometimes the difference is subtle. Sometimes the difference is more obvious. When I finally completed this game on the highest difficulty with my best character, the soldier, it took me 319 tries. The are there's for deaths. That took me a very long time. And it was because the situations I was in did not seem necessarily impossible. Just extremely unlikely. Like, I was aware that I needed a good roll. And that's what I was relying on. Anytime I found myself in a wave that was too difficult, I was just waiting for a good roll. Because there's a lot of random factors even going on in just the one wave. But sometimes it takes a long time to get that one lucky roll that allows you to actually complete a wave. And so that's a kind of mind's trap that you could find yourself in, is retrying something over and over again, even if it's actually impossible. Because of that gamer mentality of, no, they're giving me the option of trying, this should therefore be possible. And it's just that I have to get good. Not necessarily. You may just be dealing with absolutely impossible numbers. You need to be able to recognize that and walk away from it if need be. And so I'm not sure if the option to retry failed waves is a good thing or a bad thing. I think, but like, certainly there have been many times, and the reason I turned this on is because at first I was getting far into a run and then dying randomly just because of a bad roll on a wave, and I was like, that's extremely doable. Just needed one more shot at it, and then I could do it on just one more shot. So it offsets the problems of bad rolls by giving me the option of retrying without having to redo the entire run. But you may find yourself later on in a wave that's just mathematically impossible. A way that some games deal with this problem is they will allow you to gain something, even from a failed attempt. They'll allow you to gain some additional XP for the number of enemies that you manage to kill before dying. Or they'll let you keep a percentage of the materials that you collect upon dying. And even, there is this thing when you die of materials from the screen going into your inventory, And that seems like that's what's happening, but then it doesn't send you to the shop automatically. You have to like leave the game and then select resume, and then it will take you to the shop. And you have the option of, you know, selling and buying weapons if need be, but you don't have more resources than what you had last time. You don't have any more XP. You don't have any of the materials that you collected from your failed attempts. There's no progress even in failure. And that's something that some games with RPG-like elements do, is they'll allow you to gain something, even if it is only a little bit at a time. Just so that you can give yourself that extra, however much of a bit of an edge you need in order to be able to complete a particular challenge that you're struggling with. This game doesn't give you that, though. I went into it thinking that was the case, something about something I'd read made it seem like even failure was rewarded, but having actually played the game, that doesn't seem to be the case. And that's unfortunate, because it means retrying the same difficult wave, waiting for a good roll to happen. It ends up feeling like even more of a waste of time. So that's something that this game could have done differently, but maybe they didn't want to because it would impact how much further you can get when you get into endless mode. But I think the counter to that could be just you're not able to get into endless mode if you've died on the run or something. You know, I'm sure there's ways of countering that, if that's what they're concerned about. But anyways, I should actually do an actual run to give you guys more of an idea of what this game is like. The good and the bad. Okay. One thing about this game, even with all the confusing stuff about it, you do eventually get a feel for it. Like I said, it ended up being a very love-hate relationship with this game. I love it more now than I did at first, but I have to get around the stuff that doesn't make sense and that works against itself, and focus on the stuff that I actually enjoy. I've ended up enjoying playing as the mage and the king and the soldier. Cyborg is fun. I think the first character I actually beat this with was Glutton. Don't know why. I have learned that for whatever reason, stuff that encourages me to eat fruit, even when I'm at full health, it seems to make me do better at these runs. Maybe I just need to eat fruit more than I realize? I don't know. Anyways, this is the one I'll start with. And I would normally go with the Shredder as my first weapon when starting off, but because Glutton has the explosion bonus thing when eating fruit, I'll go with the Pruner, because that gives me a garden by default. Yeah, so many times I feel like I'm making the right decisions about weapons and bonuses and things based on what the game is telling me the math is. And it just does not work out for whatever reason. I mean, the game does throw a lot of math at you, and you have to just kind of do what you can with that information. Maybe some people are much better at figuring that stuff out than I am. For me, it ended up just being a lot of just experimenting and getting a feel for things, and I've learned that especially later in a run, having at least one explosive weapon, either a shredder or plank, or preferably by then a rocket launcher, makes a huge difference in comparison to not having an explosive weapon. you'll find you get overwhelmed with hordes way more when you don't have an explosive weapon. Early game, though, shouldn't be too much of a problem. Go with the pruner. And yeah, motivationally, this doesn't help. When you're struggling on just the first difficulty and they tell you the danger level is 0. The danger level is literally 0. Like, why are you having trouble with this? There's 0 danger. You should not be dying so much. That's not the most encouraging. And here we are. I forget what the story is. It's something like you're a spacefaring potato that got stranded on planet with aliens, and now you kill aliens and collect fruit and gather resources. I was expecting another fruit by now. There it is. That was a little bit late. Okay, yeah, stats. Engineering, armor, dodge, speed. Harvesting, yeah, I think it's like engineering and harvesting, but I still don't know exactly what they do. I eventually figured out, although it is still technically just a guess. I think luck determines the frequency of loot boxes appearing, and maybe something else. But every possible thing that I can think engineering is, there's something else already called that, like XP gain, explosions, item pricing. I think at first I thought that maybe it had to do with the quality of the items that appear in the shops, but I have no idea. Anyways, all things being equal, I generally go for dodge. Having a high dodge makes a huge difference. Okay, so I want all 3 of these. I can't afford all of them at once. But I can afford tree and pruner, and I will lock that for later. Oh, I have to. Ah, got a nice hairdo now. Okay. So yeah, fruit doesn't normally give you explosive farts. It's just playing as a glutton. And certain items you can get in the shop that do that. And yeah, trees, as often as you see them, generally you want to kill them. Ooh, I do want that shredder. I can afford both, okay. Attack speed, yeah, I think I'll lock that. Groovy, get my bonus explosion anyway. So when you've got 2 of the same weapon at the same quality level, you can combine them into one of a higher quality, but I'll leave the 2 pruners for now because that'll give me twice as many gardens, as opposed to just one garden that produces fruit slightly faster. I think that's the better deal for now. Anyways, and yes, trees can also drop chests, or crates, as I think they call them, which generally contain a free item. Weird food to give me more healing. It's good. Okay. This is a good haul so far for this character type. So yeah, normally the way I would be playing is I would not be going for the fruit right away. I would just save it until my health's getting low. But if it's also giving me the chance of doing damage to enemies, grab the crate there. And just run towards all the fruit as fast as I can. Whenever I see it. Anyways, yes, I want dodge. Out of these 2, I don't think I'm gonna need HP regeneration as much as just more HP. Although, that's one of those things I like to have at least 1 point in. It's HP regeneration. Another shredder. I'm actually gonna unlock that. I don't think I'll want that while I've got... Like, I don't want to have less than 0 damage. I don't seem to have arms, I just have 6 hands. But, I mean, I grew up with VeggieTales, I'm fine with that. This makes perfect logical sense for me. This could be an unofficial VeggieTales sequel as far as I know. Well, that improves everything except crit chance. Yeah, I'll take that. That sounds nice. Melee damage, sure. Another printer. And a pistol. I'll take that. And I think... range damage and attack speed. Yes, I want that. Can't afford it though, so I'll lock it. So, something that didn't take too long to get used to, there isn't a trigger button, nor an aiming mechanic. You just automatically aim for and shoot at whoever's closest, that's like within range. Based on the individual weapon's range. So, all you really have to think about is just moving around. Getting in range of enemies to shoot them, but also dodging attacks, trying to stay out of range of their attacks. I do feel like I'm moving slowly. My speed is at 3 though. Okay, so here, I don't want to grab that just yet because my knockback is currently 0, and I don't want that to get low. If anything, I want more knockback, so can't afford that right now. Recycle. Speed. Ooh, lifesteal. Something else I like to have at least 1 point on. I'll buy that. It'll lower my general damage, but give me more range damage. Oh, take that too. That'll do for now. Is it every time I pick up a fruit? I thought it was only some of the time. I know the item that gives you the same ability is only some of the times, but playing as the Glutton, it appears to be every time. Yeah. They don't sound like explosions. They just sound like I'm collecting things, but I'm gonna go with that. 2 level ups. Sweet. Now, can you guess, just ballpark, can you guess how you level up in this game? If you guessed by defeating enemies, then you are stupid and should feel embarrassed. The way that you actually gain experience is by collecting the materials that the enemies leave behind when you defeat them. But Ben, I hear you say, aren't the materials also what you use for money when you go to the shops? To which I say, yes, it's both. But Ben, I hear you also say, why would this same collectible be both XP and money? To which I say, this is Brotato. Why is anything the way that it is? And yeah, you see that bag there? That bag that all the remaining materials that you didn't pick up at the end of a wave, and a percentage of those like go into that bag? That is nothing. Of all the times I've played this game, as far as I can tell, the best I can tell, to the best of my knowledge, that bag means nothing. It makes a big deal out of the fact that it exists. And that's it. It doesn't add to the 243. It doesn't add to anything as far as I can tell. It's just there and then it's gone. It's just a number that shows up. Again, something I should Google to try and figure out what it's actually supposed to, how it's supposed to work. I cannot figure it out. Anyways, I feel like I want more speed. Thank you. Purple! Yes, I'll go for that. Yeah, were you expecting that 243 to become 263? It did not. That is not how it works. That is not in anything. So something to be aware of is items do appear to get progressively more expensive the further along you go in a run. Do I want to replace that pistol? Not usually, even if that's their strategic option. I tend to like having more variety of weapons when I can. So let's look at this. Standard pruner, like level 1 pruner, spawns a garden that creates a fruit every 15 seconds. Level 2 is every 14 seconds. So yeah, having 2 level 1s is definitely better than having just 1 level 2. So, in terms of like the more fruit you want. So that's something to keep in mind. Ooh, this guy, I want to kill this guy. Can I kill this guy fast enough? Can I do it? I think I did it. Yay. Yeah, it is one of those games where I panic more than I actually have fun when it comes to things I care about, like chasing down a loot alien. Because even when I've got him, like, there's still the rest of the wave to do. I can't, like, take the time to stop and... What's this again? Enemies take 10% more damage for 3 seconds when the first step I owned. Yeah. I mean, it's free, but also I could recycle it and just get some money. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Not a whole lot going on. Ah! A wrench. Don't think I want to trade melee and range damage, because I think I'm going to be using both for the most part. I would like to, I think, sell this pistol and get a wrench, because the wrench gives me a turret. I don't like having turrets around. They're like the closest thing I have to conjuration in this game. More range damage, yeah, I think we'll go for that too. Range damage doesn't affect turret. Does it only engineering? Okay. Oh yeah, reroll. I can afford those. More powerful shredder. I think I will do that. And more HP recovered. That might be worth it. I'll lock that. Chew, chew. Chew. Ammo turret. Come at me, bros. Come at me and get got by my turret. Oh, yeah, speed feeling a bit better. One of the other annoyances I keep coming into, which is a subtle thing, is that the map is just slightly larger than what it shows on screen. So you just barely can't quite see everything. You have to move just a little bit in order to see everything. Oh good, I did not even see that crate there. That's another nice thing, is if there's a crate out, they give it to you, even if you didn't pick it up during the wave. Yeah, there's a character called Old, I think, that makes the map small enough to just fit on one screen without you having to walk around. Allows you to actually see everything. I think Old was one of the characters that suited me better, which doesn't feel good. Range damage, ooh. Explosion damage and explosion size. I want both of those things. Especially if, hopefully I can get a rocket launcher. But it's one of the more rare drops. I've only got the one turret so far. I don't know if it's worth going for that for engineering. I do want more damage though, like in total. Piggy bank, that'll be helpful. I am enjoying this speed increase that I'm feeling. 2 items and 2 level ups. Nice. Start all waves with 50 HP. I mean, you know, with the amount of fruit that I have, I can make up for that. But, also, with the amount of fruit that I have, I don't need that much HP regeneration, so, yeah, no. No, thank you. I think. Yeah. I wouldn't pay money to make that sloth, but for free I can do that. Actually, armor, I think. Yeah, attack speed. Like that more. Landmines, yes please. You see that again? Landmine spawns every 12 seconds. Okay, that's not that much. There's an item that's a screwdriver that gives you landmines. And you can level those up so that the landmines appear more frequently. And as far as I know, they stay until someone steps on them. They just build up. Melee damage, HP, and lowers range. I can probably afford that. HP melee damage lowers attack speed. Sure. Reroll. Level 1 shredder, don't need that. Dangerous bunny for free rerolls. Yes, please. Reroll. Melee ranged harvesting. Yeah. And then lock that. So, these big charging guys have started showing up. I think that's about the time that I have to start being careful. This is where, like, not just, you know, being a sitting duck too long. Sometimes I like to just sit in one spot for a bit and relax. Oh, just stepped on a landmine. Fortunately, the landmines don't hurt me. Even if I step on them. This is actually so much freaking fruit. I cannot keep up with it all. Elemental stuff. No. Oh wait. Increased critical hit chance. Do it for that. Oh, generation. 5% damage every 5 seconds until the end of the wave. That is good. I will take that. And I will take that. Oh yeah, reroll. We can just see what there is and then get ready for later. Great chance in dodge. Yeah, sure, let's have that. Start the next wave with HP. Play some bonus, yeah, I can do that too. Usually, if I know I've got some gardens around. Ah, these guys. I used to call them mummies. I'm pretty sure those are razor blades instead of wrapping, though. So if I see fruit that nobody's around, there isn't really a point in me grabbing those. I'm just doing it out of habit now. Okay, yes, I can afford to do that. Range, speed, sure. Dodge, yes. Like that. I'll be right. Ooh, I do want that. Next wave. Alright, give me the fruit like right away. Yeah. Not healing as much as I thought it would, although back to full health already. So that's alright, but I do think I want to start focusing on increasing HP if I can find something. Now, even though I prioritize the dodge system a lot, I don't actually know how the dodge system works. So I've had situations where my dodge was super high, but still seems to get hit like the majority of the time. And then I've had situations where my dodge stat was quite low, but I seems to be able to run through enemies without problem. And I think those were runs where I had a lot of melee weapons. So it seems like actually dodging enemies is a combination of having the dodge stat and melee weapons. For some reason. Lifesteal, sure. Take that, I'll take that. And don't need scissors really. 25% chance to deal 12 damage to a random enemy when an enemy dies. Yes, I'll take that. When I've got high luck, those things are worth it. And yes, I'll take that too. Reroll. Community support. Yeah, sure. Speed, armor, HP. I want both of those actually. Maybe you don't need to bother with that. I'll take that though. Lowers enemy speed. I think that'll be useful for me. Alright, where are they at? Oh, these guys. So these helmeted guys do a lot more damage than the others. But I'm not even at, like, the problem waves yet. I think that is coming up. Got the Viking aliens showing up. They do a heck of a lot of damage. But yeah, I seem to be mostly able to run through the waves to get around. Pretty okay. And that's with a moderate amount of dodge. But I've got 4 melee weapons. So it's likely that combination factor. Yeah, I'll take some armor. So I can go straight to a level 4 shredder, which is the max. Level 4 is the max you can get for anything. I can have that or a blue, or I can have 2 purples. I don't know which is best. I can't be bothered doing the math. Just swipe that. Just like the idea of having a level 4. Chance to deal damage to a random enemy when you pick up a material. I will take that also. This is where I typically start having problems. Largely because of these guys, because you kill these guys, they spawn these 3 other guys that shoot. They're not the first guys to show up that shoots, but they do swarm quickly. I think depending on the build I've got, sometimes I find it best to handle these waves by just kind of staying in the corner. But there's a lot that goes into whether or not that works. Including turrets, and we're a range game, but I've only got like the 1 turret right now, so... I'm doing alright, though. Okay, I feel like I need to work on range. Dropping that. Yes, community support. I'll take that one. Thank you. NOA 15 is pretty much the same as 14, but harder. So if you do struggle with wave 14... Ooh, you are not out of the woods yet. This build, though, with the Glutton, I seem to be managing just running around, grabbing fruit as fast as I can. And staying, like, relatively central. Ugh. But yeah, I think part of the problem is the bullets do a lot more damage than you expect them to. I mean, they're these dinkly little things. They don't seem like they would be that much of a big deal. And yeah, if at any point you're wondering how I'm managing to keep track of everything that's happening on screen, I am not. This is not the kind of game where you keep track of what's happening on screen. You just develop a general idea of what is happening on screen, and hope that you are correct. Armor that costs us some HP. I think that is a bit better. I don't have any elemental weapons though, so don't bother with that. Yeah, max HP. I want explosion size more than I want anything else here. I'll go with that one for right now. I think I've got enough speed. How's my knockback? I have 0 knockback. Okay. Reroll. Ooh! Additional slowy down things. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm actually at the wave where I needed either really good speed or really good knockback, and I have neither of those. I have more than 0 speed, but not as much as I should have prepared for myself. Oh, we're not there yet. Okay. Probably the next one. This one, I don't think this wave usually gives me too much trouble. This is the introduction of enemies having like a red glow to them because of these. I think I was originally calling them the purple guys, but everyone's purple, so that didn't really clarify things. These guys with the zits. If you can manage to spot them on screen, they seem to make the enemies tougher and more aggressive. Which isn't too much of a problem here, but come wave 18, that is a serious problem. Alright, yeah, slower enemies. Actually, yeah, if I don't have much speed for myself, I can at least slow down enemies. That hopefully should help. Increase attack speed, reroll. Fireball! So, normally I would like a fireball, but circumstantially, I haven't been putting points into elemental damage. And it looks to me like the Shredder is much more powerful, so like the same level, so yeah, I'll just leave that. Do I want to sell my wrench? Like, I've been hoping to find more copies of these weapons in the shop so that I can just be improving these weapons. But they haven't been showing up that much, or they've been the wrong level. Like, I've been seeing a lot of Shredders, but only level 1s for the most part, so I haven't really been able to level that up. That's one of the unfortunate things. It's like, you can go in wanting to have a particular kind of run as far as weapon choice, but you're at the mercy of the shops. I have gone entire runs wanting a particular kind of weapon and just never come across that weapon. It happens. Unfortunately. Something I'd like to see roguelikes like this incorporate. I don't think there's a game that does this yet. I'd like to see this, though. Is legacy items for the shop. Like the ability to take at least one item from your inventory at the end of a run and make it available in shops at the start of the next run. Even if you can't afford it yet, like the ability to lock an item that you can't afford so you can go back to it later. Just so that if there is a particular thing you're looking to do a run with, you're guaranteed to at least be able to get that once you have the in-run money to afford it. I'd like to see stuff like that added to these games. Yeah, this is the run where if you don't have the speed or knockback necessary, you just straight up die from these mummy razor guys. I don't know if anybody has an official name. I have not been building up my speed or knockback, but fortunately I've got these two drones that just slow down enemies who are near me. And I got that tooth item or whatever it was that slows down enemies as I hit them. Attack speed increases the... plus 10 attack speed. Next sentence, increases the attack speed of your structures by 8%. That is another minor, but sometimes big deal complaint. Is there are a number of situations where this game really needs to have periods when trying to read the descriptions for some things. Anyways, yes, I'll take that. Yes, I'll take the melee damage. I don't think it was that. Ah, this one. Ugly Tooth. Yeah, especially if you've got rapid-fire weapons, that's a useful thing to have. I want both of those. I want this more. And I can afford that too. Nice. Oof. Chance to deal 93 damage to an enemy when dodging their attack. And I have decent dodge. I want that and that. I don't want that as much. I don't want that because it's going to lower my range damage. Still no weapons. This has been a disappointing run for weapons, actually. Ah, yes, this one. This wave. Okay, so... I'm counting pimple guys that I kill. 1, 2, 3... I might have missed one already. 4... 5... 6... 7... Get that 3... 8... 9... And then I think at 10, which I might have already done. Yeah, it calms down. But until you've killed those 10 pimple guys, this wave is just insane. With these mini Vikings getting in range and just flying around the screen like crazy. I've got a lot of things active right now that are slowing down enemies. Otherwise, this would be a lot more chaotic. I don't think I need that, because I don't have that many ranged weapons right now. So I'll recycle that. Less luck. Yeah, I've got enough luck. Yeah, give me that. Lifesteal, sure. Ah, we'll take that. And... that. Reroll. Obliterator. It is unlikely that I will be able to afford that now, unfortunately. But I'll lock it just in case. I would have to get 400 plus. I would normally go for that as well. Knockback, could have done with that sooner. And I'm not going to be able to afford all of these anyways. But maybe a couple of them, yeah. Don't even necessarily think Obliterator is the best gun in the game. I think it's presented as such. I think it does the most damage, but doesn't hit as many enemies as certain other weapons. Piercing 99 though. Is that like how many enemies it goes through? So that's pretty cool. But yeah, like I really could have done with better weapons showing up earlier. I'm like at the end of the run now and got 3 I've got 3 pruners. I've got 2 level 1 pruners and a level 2 pruner. I've got 1 level 1 wrench, and I've got a couple of shredders. Compared to how these runs usually go, I can't tell you guys until I do more videos on this, which I probably will. Comparatively, this is actually sad. This is like a depressing range of weapons to have for Wave 19. And like you've been watching, right? It's not from a lack of choosing the weapons that suit the run. It's from a lack of those weapons showing up. I thought I'd be able to improve my wrench. I have not. Or have I gotten any other turrets just like on their own as items? But somehow I'm managing. And I think that's just how the Glutton character works. Just focus on fruit. It's like all you need. Just fruit. Let's grab all the fruit. If this is a VeggieTales sequel, we are going after the fruit. Let's destroy all the fruit. And as the seconds to last wave, this is the, okay, now take everything you've learned and apply it here stage. Which is actually just like everybody shows up. Or almost everybody. But not even in any particular configuration. They're all just here to party. Like, nobody's strategizing. And I don't even think everybody actually shows up. Yeah, it's surprisingly easy for Wave 19. I suppose I could take that for free. Yeah. I actually can afford this. Okay. So, let me do this. I don't want to take the risk of removing any of my gardens, just in case that's why I've been doing so well. I'd be very surprised if the turret is doing anything for me. So I'll grab that. Reroll. Another level 1 shredder I can't do anything with. Okay. I hope that didn't somehow end up being a mistake. We'll find out. Boss time! Which one have we got? This guy. Okay. This guy isn't as much of a problem. Basically just walk in circles around him. That's the whole strategy. And that is exceptionally doable. I see a tree, but I'm not seeing a need to grab it. Which is great. Somehow got it. Did the Obliterator do that? Does the Obliterator have, like, super high range? I wasn't even paying attention. So... okay. You can sometimes tell if you're killing an enemy fast enough, killing a boss fast enough that you can actually kill them before the wave ends. Because you have the option of just survive the minute and a half, or actually kill the boss. I'm actually dying here, so I'll grab some stuff. If you can manage to kill the boss before the wave ends, and you're on Endless, then you actually get a tier 4 item for free from the boss. Which is cool. But if you're not doing Endless, then it just ends the wave early. And yeah, that worked out. I guess that was the, Wisdom? I forgot I'd equipped that. Because that does mean that as the wave goes on, you will do progressively more damage. So yeah, that worked out. A successful run, not the most aggressive or explosive or chaotic run that I've had, so. And as I've said, it's a very love-hate relationship I have with this game, but I'm learning to focus on the things that I love, and I would like to cover this game some more on this channel, show you guys some more of the other characters that I've been playing as that I actually enjoy playing as. And other things. And also show you guys the Abyssal Terrors DLC. Some of the stuff that came with that. But yeah, so in summary, mixed feelings. But there are positive feelings to be had with this game if I choose to and I'm able to focus on those. So that is what I'll be planning to do. For the most part. Because yeah, lots of fun to be had. Well, until next time, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you're all staying safe. And I'll see you next time. I need to memorize that outro. I've been doing this 5 years, I still haven't memorized that outro.